Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesdays with Wendy, where we make small business ownership less stressful, one step at a time. Today, we're going to talk about everyone's favorite form this time of year, the 1099. I'm sure if you've been in business for a while, you know that you have to send these forms out. If you are a contract worker, an independent contractor, you have probably received one of these forms. Well, today we're going to answer the question, do I really need to send these out? They're stupid. They're so confusing. It's so frustrating. Do we even really have to do this? Well, the answer is yes. And I will tell you why. Before we get to that, if you are just now meeting me, my name is Wendy Kane. I'm the owner of Kane Accounting and Financial Coaching. I do bookkeeping and payroll for independent contractors and small businesses so that you can have peace at tax time and throughout the rest of the year. Okay, 1099s. Most of you are familiar with this. The form is the number is a big broad category. There are different types of 1099s. One that you might be familiar with is the 1099-INT for interest. What we used to send out was 1099 miscellaneous, which encompasses a lot of different things. A few years ago, the IRS made a change and we now send out the 1099 NEC, which stands for non-employee compensation. And that is for contractors, people who are not S corps or corporations, and sole proprietors and people like that. Okay, so you have to send one of these forms to any of those people that you have paid $600 or more to during the year. Okay, so you start running your reports and you don't know. You're not supposed to send to corporations. Well, what if they're an S corp? Okay, well, what if they're not? Well, what if it's this? There are so many questions. Preparing these forms is a pain. I'm just going to be honest. It really is. And so I can see why many business owners are like, do we even have to do this? This sucks. Well, yes, you have to do it. One, why? Because the law says to. The IRS has a law that says if you paid a contractor $600 or more for services, you will send them a 1099 NEC. Now, there's rules and all that stuff, but that's what the law says. You have to do it. So, what if you decide you don't want to? What if you're like, how are they going to know? I just won't send these. I mean, really? Okay, well, the IRS has thought of that, and they have written into the tax law some rules and some penalties for not sending them. So, I'll put a link in the comments for this web page. I've got it up here on my other monitor. And they have penalties for sending them in late. For example, if it's up to 30 days late. So let me back up. They are due by January 31st. So you've got about 2 weeks to get them sent to the vendors, your contractors, and to the IRS. If you send them out in February, you could potentially be hit with a penalty of $60 per form. So if you had 10 forms that you were supposed to send out and they don't go out until February, that's potentially $600 of penalty. It goes up through there. The 31 days through August 1st is a $130 penalty. After August 1st, or they weren't filed at all, is a $340 penalty. And then the one that we want to address today, intentional disregard. That means you're just like, I'm not filing it. This is stupid. I'm not doing it. Okay, fine. Don't do it. It's $680 per form. And if you just intentionally disregard them, the IRS can also tack on other penalties in addition to that. And it says underneath the table, the maximum penalty is different for small businesses and large businesses, including government entities. There is no maximum penalty for intentional disregard. So just keep that in mind if you think, I just won't do these. Okay, fine. Maybe you get away with it this year. Maybe you get away with it next year. At some point, if you get audited and they find out you were supposed to send 1099s, but you didn't, that's what you're facing. $680 per form minimum, and it can go up from there. So I don't know about you. but I would rather make a good faith effort to send out at least as many as I can figure out that I have to. Maybe it's not perfect, maybe you missed a couple, but if you intentionally disregard them, meaning you just go, "Oh, I don't care, I'm not doing it." If you do that, the penalties can be steep, and we don't want to do that. Plus, it raises the ire of the IRS, and no one wants that. You don't want the IRS on your back, trust me. Okay, let's see. So, another objection I run into is people are like, okay, well, you know, I would send a 1099, but that's my friend and she's really nice and I don't want her to have to pay taxes on that money. Well, I know, but also that's the law. I mean, it says you have to do this. And what the form does, I should back up a bit. This form is going to it's going to tell the IRS, hey, I paid Susie Smith $5,000 last year. So the IRS is going to look at Susie Smith's tax return and make sure there's $5,000 of usually self-employment income on there. If she reports $10,000 of income, 15,000, she's good. If she reports $3,000 of income, the IRS has a problem with that. Their computers will automatically send her a notice that says, hey, we were told that you earned $5,000 from self-employment. You only reported 3,000. What's up with that? They'll word it a little better on the form, but that's basically what the form does. It's a form of being audited. It's just on paper. No one shows up to your house, not at that stage anyway. And so anyway, that's an objection I get a lot about, well, I don't want my friend to have to pay taxes on that. And all I can say is, well, you have to pay taxes on the money you earn. You have to report all of your income. The law also says you have to report your income. It says you have to report illegal income on your tax return. They've covered all their bases, folks. Trust me. They've got the whole thing. So if you've got to pay taxes, which is the right thing to do, shouldn't your friend have to pay taxes? Why are you helping them avoid taxes? That's called tax evasion, and you can get in trouble for that too. And again, we don't want to I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to raise the ire of the IRS or any government entities. I mean, it's just not worth it. So I know they're a pain in the butt, but it is worth it to go through the reports, figure out which ones you need to send, and just send them and go on with your life. And then we can move into February and talk about fun stuff like how the rest of the year is going to go, and we can stop worrying about last year because it's done. Okay, that is all for today. I want to remind you what do I want to remind you? That this is not taught in school, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's okay. It's confusing, and I get it. So if you would like some help, go to my website and book a free consultation, and I can see how I can help you sort through all this stuff. All right, y'all have a good day.